Well, our garden survived Cyclone Alfred. It was downgraded to a low before it hit landfall, but because it did hit landfall not far from us, we did still get 80-kilometer winds, which was absolutely terrifying, especially when we lived so close to this ginormous sole gum tree. A lot of trees went down in our area and power was out for a few days, and I was so glad that we didn't have any fish in our aquaponic system at the time. Thankfully, we didn't suffer too much damage. Overall, we only got around 350 mil of rain, which was a lot less than what I was expecting. The carrots I planted did in fact love the rain, and we've had really strong germination, which means there will be loads of thinning in my future. The corn, however, that was flowering when it hit, so I dare say we won't see too much in the way of kernels developing. And we've also got a few fungal diseases lingering in the garden too. The tomato cage did get bent over in the wind. The banana trees look a bit trashed. The basil has fallen over, but surprisingly, the pawpaws held strong. The seeds we planted in trays, I brought them inside during the cyclone, but unfortunately 2 days of low light has made them grow a little bit leggy. You can see how they have these long stems and are reaching for the light. This makes them a little more fragile, so we'll see how they go. Now we can focus on our most productive season. Overall, the weather is starting to transition, but I am expecting that last hurrah of summer. We usually get a blast of hot days just before it does fully start to cool down. We've got a few jobs that we need to do this month, one of which is setting up our brand new chicken coop. It arrived yesterday, so that will be our job for this weekend. We'll be moving the chickens to the backyard near where our current fruit trees live. It's where they tend to go when we let them out, so hopefully they will really like their new position. Moving our coop will mean that we'll be pulling down the old chicken run, and we'll gain a bit more space, which I plan on using to plant more fruit trees. If you're in the subtropics, I would love to know of any must-have fruit trees you grow that you actually eat the fruit of. I'm looking at low-chill stone fruit trees and potentially apples because that's what my kids eat. My parents did gift me an avocado tree and I'm notorious for killing them. I'm not sure if its location I've chosen or our clay soil, but I've been moving it around in its pot still to find the right location. And I think when I do plant it, I will put it in a raised bed to hopefully help with the clay situation. So this month is all about preparing my beds for garlic. I'll be planting after the autumn equinox, so late March, if not early April. I'll post a video when I do plant it out, but I like to prepare my garden beds well in advance before planting out. The best garlic we have grown is in garden beds where we've buried fish carcasses, which we have been doing, but I've decided to not plant in those beds because I'm worried about the sun position. So I will be using some fish hydrolysate regularly once they start to grow. I am hoping that the Morpheus compost that we got will give them that extra boost they need, and I have just topped up the beds with a bit of rock minerals as well. I also need to get up my additional wicking bed up and running. This one has filled up with water from the rain. I was concerned that the crate, when we cut it, the reservoir started to look a little bit black, so I have been keeping an eye on that, and I was thinking of going back to the way of using a slotted drain, but it seems to have settled down, so I'm going to just go ahead and finish making this wicking bed. I don't love to grow in plastic, but it's what we have to use in this area due to the tree roots invading our soil here. The other wicking bed that was having drainage issues, I ended up putting some pumpkin seeds in here and it has helped. The pumpkins seem to be taking a lot of moisture, which is allowing the bed to fully drain, and it has stopped the capsicums and strawberries from rotting. So when this pumpkin finishes up, I will pull everything out and check the drainage and add more perlite to the soil. Another big job that we need to start this month is cleaning all the clay beads from the aquaponics and moving the whole system. If anyone has a good way of cleaning beads, I would love to hear it. It's been one of the things that we've been putting off because we think it's too hard. We are still trying to figure out the design of this new system, and we've been talking about removing my little pollinator garden to fit in 2 extra grow beds. We have been seeing a lot of gall wasps on our citrus fruit, normally I remove the entire branch, but this year I'm going to try razor blading them off to expose the eggs, and we'll see how we go with those. I need to find homes for all of my pineapples that are currently just in temporary pots. They did do really well in my vertical garden, so I am contemplating just expanding that. But I am worried about the rats eating the fruits, as I do use the fence lines as a bit of a highway. Our bait stations for the fruit fly has slowed down with the numbers, and I have been risking not netting my tomatoes, and thankfully none of them have been stung. The numbers in the trap have been really low, which is great, so I will just continue using this bait station and swapping out the baits at the turn of each season. Hopefully I can rely less on netting my fruit if I keep going with this. I am, however, still getting stings on my cucumbers, and I did see a comment about these baits not working for the cucumber fly. So I emailed the guys at Bugs for Bugs, and they did confirm that these do not work for cucumber flies. So I'm going to try some yeast-based traps to see if I can get the numbers down on these guys. If anyone has had some success with using homemade baits, I've seen some before with ammonia and yeast. So I would love to try some homemade methods of trying to get these numbers under control. In terms of harvest, we did harvest all of our Roma tomatoes before the cyclone, and I turned a lot of it into tomato onion relish, and I did cut up the rest to freeze, which I use for soups and just general cooking. We have had a consistent supply of cucumbers as well as basil and most greens. Our cherry tomato is just starting to ripen, which has timed really well as the Roma has just finished up. It's also passion fruit harvest season for us now, which we are absolutely loving. We grow this yellow one. It has been so prolific and it just self-seeds and regrows every year. Our loofahs are also drying off. It's been a few years since we last grew them, and I was getting low, so it's really good to replenish our stores of these as well. The sweet potatoes are getting close. We'll look at harvesting those in the next month or so. Usually around Anzac Day is when I pull them out. And after 6 years, this may not look like much, but I'm so excited. I have one peppercorn. I wasn't sure if we'd ever get any, as it's more of a tropical plant, so I'm very excited to see a little peppercorn forming here. I need to give this plant a bit of love, as it's got some obvious nutrient deficiencies happening here, but I am so excited about this. Anyway, that's what we're up to this month in our subtropical garden here in Southeast Queensland, Australia. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.